Despite the fact that flying on a plane is 19 times safer than riding in a car, a lot of people are still anxious about getting on aircrafts.
I've got to get out of here!
Real talk, this video will not help your fear of flying in any way, shape, or form. As safe as riding a plane might be, there are still a number of strange flight-related occurrences that stump researchers to this day. Let's hop aboard the 8 world's biggest aviation mysteries. What's up, Factnatics? This is Discovery Amuse, serving up your daily dose of the most outrageous, outlandish, and out-of-this-world fun facts. If you think an entire aircraft vanishing into thin air is scary, what about the disappearance of multiple planes? Stay tuned for our top 1 mystery.
Get ready for takeoff.
Number 8. Star Tiger. I'm sure you've all heard about the infamous Bermuda Triangle, also known as the Devil's Triangle, a section of the Atlantic Ocean bound by Bermuda, Miami, and Puerto Rico. Legend has it that ships and planes disappeared due to mysterious forces in the area. These stories started on January 29, 1948, when the British South American Airways, or BSAA Star Tiger, took off from Santa Maria in the Azores and headed towards Bermuda. Unfortunately, the passenger aircraft was met with heavy rains and strong winds, which blew it off its course. Despite this, the captain was still able to estimate their Bermuda arrival at around 5 a.m. Sadly, that was the last time the ground crew heard from Star Tiger. The plane, along with the 31 people on board, never landed and disappeared without a trace. A year later, on January 17, 1949, a similar aircraft, the BSAA Star Ariel, vanished while en route to Jamaica from Bermuda. Like its predecessor, the plane disappeared over the Atlantic Ocean and no wreckage or bodies were found. Keep your seat belts fastened because our number 1 pick won't do your aerophobia any favors. Number 7. Malaysian Airlines Flight MH370. This incident is still fresh on people's minds. On March 8, 2014, Malaysian Airlines Flight MH370 departed Kuala Lumpur for Beijing. Ground control lost communication with the plane less than an hour after it left. No distress signal or bad weather reports were sent before it disappeared from the radar. More than 20 countries got involved in what turned out to be one of the most extensive search operations worldwide, done in a massive, remote, and previously unmapped area of the Indian Ocean. But all efforts were futile. About 16 months after the plane went missing, a torn piece of airfoil confirmed to be part of the aircraft washed ashore on the French island of Réunion. This indicated that the flight may have violently ended by crashing into the Indian Ocean. In February 2020, former Australian Prime Minister Tony Abbott made a bold claim that the Malaysian government secretly concluded that the whole thing was a mass murder-suicide incident led by the flight's captain, Zahari Shah.
They thought it was murder-suicide by the pilot,
which Malaysia denied. Number 6. Hijacker Vanishing Act. On November 24, 1971, the now infamous D.B. Cooper boarded a Northwest Orient Airlines flight from Portland to Seattle. In the middle of the flight, he threatened an attendant with a bomb and demanded $200,000, 4 parachutes, and a fuel truck on standby upon their arrival in Seattle. The airline president authorized the payment. As soon as they landed, the ransom was given and the passengers were released. Cooper then told the cockpit crew that they were going to fly to Mexico. They got back in the air and 2 fighter aircraft secretly trailed behind. When the plane landed at Reno Airport, FBI agents, state troopers, and local police surrounded the jet, but a quick search determined that Cooper was no longer aboard. Their best guess was that Cooper parachuted his way out of the plane, but nobody saw anything or anyone exit the aircraft, either physically or through the radar. Despite an extensive manhunt, Cooper was never located or identified, making him notorious for the only unsolved case of air piracy in commercial aviation history. Number 5. Flying Tiger Line Flight 739. The Lockheed L-1049 Super Constellation propliner, which was used for this charter flight, has a wingspan of over 126 feet and a length of more than 116 feet. So how the heck did a rather large plane like this vanish without a trace?
Magic.
On March 16, 1962, the plane transported 93 U.S. soldiers, 3 Vietnamese passengers, and 11 crew members from California to Vietnam. The flight had 4 refueling stopovers, one of which was in Guam. 80 minutes after its departure from Guam, the pilot radioed a routine message and identified their position. A little over an hour later, when the radio operator attempted to contact the plane again for a position report, there was no response. At that time, the weather was reportedly clear and the waters were calm. The aircraft was not seen or heard from again, as if it randomly evaporated into nothingness. Number 4. Japan Airlines Flight 1628. In this flight that seems straight out of an X-Files episode, the Japan Airlines Flight 1628 was en route to Tokyo from Paris on November 17, 1986, when the crew noticed 2 UFOs flying close to the aircraft as they flew over Alaska. Captain Kenju Terauchi described them as having rectangular arrays of what seemed to be glowing nozzles or thrusters. When the objects came close, the captain said the cabin lit up and he felt the heat on his face. The 2 flying objects reportedly flew away before a third, larger disc-shaped vessel started trailing them. When the captain reported to air traffic control, they requested an oncoming commercial flight and another military craft to confirm the unidentified objects. Both of them saw the Japan Airlines plane, but neither saw any other aircraft. One scientist theorized that the captain might have seen planets Jupiter and Mars, which according to astronomical calculations were very bright and visible at that time. Number 3. Varig Flight 967. Our next disappearing act was an international cargo flight en route from Japan's Narita Airport to Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. On January 30, 1979, the plane successfully took off, but the control tower lost contact with it after an hour. The flight's captain, Gilberto Araujo de Silva, became an aviation hero in 1973 after he successfully maneuvered a crashing and burning plane away from houses by landing it in an open field. But this time around, he went MIA along with Flight 967, 30,000 feet above the ground. The plane's sudden disappearance created theories about a mid-air heist gone wrong, since the flight apparently carried some valuable cargo: 153 paintings by the Japanese-Brazilian artist Manabu Mabe, valued at $1.24 million. Number 2. The Lost Aviator. Whatever happened to Amelia Earhart, who holds the stars up in the sky? This list won't be complete without tackling the mysterious final voyage of one of the most popular female navigators of all time, Amelia Earhart. Earhart made headlines in the late 1920s to 1930s as she broke speed and altitude records. She was the first female pilot to fly across the Atlantic and the first pilot to fly solo from Hawaii to California. Earhart continued to reach for the sky and attempted to become the first woman to circumnavigate the globe. On July 2nd, 1937, she and her navigator, Fred Noonan, took off from Lae, Papua New Guinea, in one of the final legs of their historic attempt. Their destination was Howland Island in the Central Pacific Ocean, but they ended up battling overcast skies, faulty radio transmission, and diminishing fuel supply until they finally lost contact somewhere over the Pacific. Ships and planes scoured about 250,000 square miles of deep water. Still, the flight and the 2 navigators were never found. This gave birth to several conspiracy theories, like the 2 getting stranded on a different island or being taken as prisoners by the Japanese. Here's to hoping that someday we'll know what really happened. Before we go to our number one pick, do us a solid and make sure to smash the subscribe button and hit the notification bell. Don't forget to choose all so you won't miss out on any of our latest life-changing, boredom-busting content. And of course, be sure to turn on notifications in your app settings. Number 1. Mystery of Flight 19. On December 5, 1945, 5 U.S. Navy Avenger torpedo bombers forming Flight 19 left Fort Lauderdale Naval Air Station in Florida for a routine training mission. The squad of 14 men was led by Lieutenant Charles Taylor. Flight 19 successfully completed their assigned exercise, but Lieutenant Taylor's compass malfunctioned on their way back. He mistakenly led the team far out to sea towards what is believed to be the Bermuda Triangle. After flying for about 2 more hours, Taylor's distorted radio transmission was heard, apparently calling for his men to get ready to ditch their aircraft as fuel runs out. All 5 planes and the whole crew seemingly disappeared after that. A massive search was launched, and a 13-man unit PBM Mariner rescue seaplane was also deployed. Strangely enough, the Mariner aircraft also disappeared after nearing Flight 19's last assumed position. Later on, a tanker cruising off Florida's coast reportedly saw an explosion at sea, which the authorities presumed to be the rescuing PBM aircraft. Unfortunately, due to the stormy weather, the search expeditions failed to locate a single trace of any of the 6 planes or the 27 men. So, which of these aerodynamic enigmas intrigued you the most? Let us know in the comments section below. Take home any of our exclusive gear by browsing our merch shelf or clicking the link in the video description. And while you're at it, take our quiz to find out how you can earn extra cash online doing what you do best. Awesome, right? Now, here's something that might change your mind about flying. Check out our ranking of the 10 most amazing abandoned places on Earth. Till then, stay inquisitive, Factnatics, and see you in the next video.